Select the pedal. Go to frame 160. At Z-axis deform modifier, set a keyframe on angle 294 degree. Expand the end animation frame to 335 frames. Go to frame 258 and change Z-axis deformer, angle to 0 degree, and add a keyframe. This keyframe opens the flower petals. Select the cloner array controller. Go to Object Info tab and change the Z rotation on frame 198 to 0 and add keyframe. Go to frame 248 and in Z-axis change it to 20 degree and insert another keyframe. This creates rotation on different level of the array modifier. Go to the modifier stack. Add a simple deform modifier. Set deform angle to minus 360 degrees. Change axis to Z and set it to bend. At frame 0, add a keyframe. Go to frame 138, deform angle to 0 and add a keyframe. Go to Object Data panel. And change the XYZ scale to 0 at frame number 10 and add a keyframe. Go to frame 125, turn the scale back to 3.106 and keyframe it. Select the base vine 00, rename it to small vine. Go to frame 140 and curve settings, keyframe the bevel start value to 1.0. Go to frame 175 and bevel start value, keyframe to 0. Select the end branch. Go to Object Info. Go to frame 159. Set Y rotation to minus 6 degree and keyframe it. Go to frame 180. Set Y rotation to 0 and add a keyframe. Repeat the same steps to the other branches and slightly offset the keyframes shown here. Select the top branch. Go to frame 170. Add XYZ scale. Keyframe. Go to frame 160. Add XYZ scale to 0. Use the same method and slightly offset the keyframe for other two branches as shown here. Select the pedal. Go to frame 140. Keyframe XYZ scale. Go to frame 125. Set the scale to 0 and keyframe it. Press Shift S, center cursor to World Origin. Press Shift A, add a plane. Go to Object Info tab and scale it in XYZ axis by 40. Press Tab, go to Edit mode. Press W, subdivide it 50 times. Rename the plane as Rocks. Press Tab, go back to Object mode. Go to Modifier stack and add a Displace modifier. Go to Texture tab, add in, type Select Clouds. Set the size to 1.47. Go Object Info tab and set the Z rotation to minus 225 degree. Press Shift A, add a plane. Set the XYZ scale to 30. Press Tab, go to Edit mode, press W and subdivide. Set the number of cuts to 100. Go to Physics tab and enable Dynamic Paint. Set the type to Canvas. Go to Settings and add Canvas. Change the end frame to 100. Change the surface type to Waves. Use the Water Effector collection as brush. add an icosphere. Press G is C 219. Go to frame 1 and add a keyframe to XYZ location. Go to frame 50, press G, Z, -2.2596. Press I and add a keyframe on XYZ location. Rename the plane to water plane. Press M and move the plane to background environment collection. Select the icosphere. Go to Physics tab, add dynamic paint. Set the type to brush. Go to settings and add a brush. Select the water plane. Go to dynamic paint and bake the simulation. For the water shader, I used a noise texture along with a texture coordinate and a mapping node. Used a color ramp as a height factor to bump input, which goes to a principled BSDF shader. Bump strength is set to 0.608. Principled shader metallic value to 1. The roughness to 0.095. Noise texture scale to 5.0. Detail to 2 and distortion to 0. Select the mapping node. Go to timeline. At frame 1, set the mapping node Y location to 0 and keyframe it pressing I. Go to frame 336. Set the mapping node Y location to 0.8 and keyframe it pressing I. Modify the water plane position to match the final perspective. Use this location and rotation values. Reconfiguring the position of all flower instances to match the perspective. Also reconfiguring the position of the water effector icosphere. After the reconfiguration, select the water plane, go to Physics tab, delete the previous bake, and rebake Dynamic Paint Simulation. For the flower procedural shader, two types of node trees were used. This first tree creates the edge light to darkness fall off. You can see how things were set up. The second tree create highlights and texture patterns to randomize the look. It is called the territory details. 28 nodes were used. This shader is capable of generating random flower textures, but some manual settings are required to map it correctly according to your preferences. As an example, if you change the petal size or petal design through modeling, then this shader will create a different pattern each time. Press Shift A, create a irradiance volume. Scale it until it fills up the whole background scene. Go to Irradiance Volume tab and increase the XYZ resolution to 7. Press Shift A and create a sphere. Use a star image texture. In Viewport Display, set the display as Y. Use an image like this and orient them at the last edge of the background. Use an emission shader and plug in the image in the emission color socket. Set the emission strength to 2.5. Four lights are used in this scene. An area key light with this color hex value. Power of 3000, specular at 1, custom distance at 100, shadow and contact shadows on. Area reddish yellow rim light with this color hex value. Power to 10,000, specular at 1, custom distance 100, shadow and contact shadows on. Area yellow light with this color hex value. Power to 5,000, specular at 1, custom distance 100, shadow and contact shadows on. Area subject focus light with this color hex value. Power to 10,000, specular 1, custom distance 100, shadow and contact shadows on. You can see how the lighting affects the subject. Add this location and rotation keyframes on camera on frame 1. On frame 100, add this location and rotation keyframes. At frame 190, use this location keyframes. At frame 336, use this location and rotation keyframe. Go to frame 60, go to camera settings tab and turn on depth of field. And keyframe the aperture f-stop value to 1.0. Go to frame 140, set the f-stop value to 0.6 and keyframe it. Go to frame 335 and set the f-stop value to 0.3. Create an object and name it particle emitter. Create an argosphere and name it particle instance. Take the particle instance out of the background. Select the particle emitter. And add a particle system. Name it particle burst. Set the number to 1000. Frame start to 180, end to 180, and lifetime to 200. You can see how it is working. Go to Object and Instance Object. Use Select Particle Instance. In Render tab, Scale to 0.050. Uncheck Show Emitter. In Field Weights, turn the gravity to 0. Select the particle instance. Go to Shader tab. Select the emission shader. Use this color hex. With a strength value of 35. Select the pedal, go to Particle tab and create a new particle system. Name it Particle Geyser. Number to 1000. Frame start to 180. End value to 340. Lifetime to 50. Go to Particle Render Scale and set it to 0.050. Scale Randomness to 1.0. Go to Object tab, Instance Object, and select Particle Instance. Check Show Emitter and turn the gravity to 0. Press Shift A and add a turbulence force field. Go to Force Field Settings. Set the strength to 25, size to 1, flow to 0, noise amount to 2.0, seed to 16, and turn on effect location and rotation. Select the wind force field. Set the strength to 5.0, flow to 1.0. Check effect location, check effect rotation, set the noise amount to 0.2, seed to 122, and leave everything default. This is the whole background setup. Go to Frame Rate, select Custom and set FPS to 80. Output to PNG, color depth 8 bits. Compression to 0%. Resolution to 1920 by 951 pixel at 100% quality. Render to 16, but you should use 64 for better quality. Then bake the indirect lighting. Set the color management look to medium high contrast, view transform to filmic, and exposure to -0.2.